Hello, Professor. Uh, I'm going to start my presentation. So, my presentation topic is penetration testing. So, first, I'm going to talk something about the penetration testing. Well, so there are more than just the scanning for low availability about the penetration testing. So, at the most basic level in deep penetration test is the process of evaluating systems, applications, and protocol to find and then verify vulnerabilities to certain attacks. This is concluded by actually exploiting suspected vulnerabilities with prepared exploit code and manual keyboard work so the organization can determine the real-world impact of those exploits if they were actually run against their targets. So also a good pen tester do actually use scanning tools and run vulnerability discovery and assessment scans regularly to accomplish their initial step in the overall pen testing process. Well, next is when it come to initial scan steps, no one will ever serve as a complete solution for any large to mid-sized organization. Next, some scanning tools are significantly better than others at performing certain specify a specific task, and some tools will work as advertised in certain environment but break never complete processes or particularly failed in the variety of other ways, and virtually able to generate false positive and missed vulnerabilities that do exist, and also candidate risk and recommendation provided by tools can be shallow, misleading, and confusing. And no tools find everywhere near 100% of existing vulnerabilities, and no tools can fully automate the running of known exploits and attack to determine the specific organizational or risk associated with the potential vulnerability without introducing unnecessary risk to the business. So when correctly understand the penetration testing activity and leverage the finding from vulnerability and risk assessment scanning tools to pick critical targets from them to first verify as actually vulnerable, and then second to consider exploring as a possible incremental step in a serious effort to eventually gain privilege access somewhere important on the network. So this process will typically require launching one or more target attacked against the asset within the regulation within the organization's IT environment. So a proper penetration testing engagement and then incorporate many things and steps such as a measure real disciplined process and use of particle automate to run the particle temps and multiple temps and current to the minute knowledge of software availability and exploits. Well, and then a real world risk analysis experience. And next is the in-depth manual attack and related special skills, as well as numerous other tangible and intangible pen testing program elements. Well, so we're going to the a solid security testing or pen testing programs incorporate some basic elements such as test plan and map. That is clearly defined scope, objective, identification of the test and other order in which they are be performed. And for a scan is a illumination of suspected vulnerabilities using additional, using automate tool or tools. As for assess is the verification of vulnerabilities using automate and manual technique. And for attack comprehensive verification of high-risk vulnerabilities, including but not limited to a safe exploitation of these vulnerabilities using like both automate and manual process, including the injection of malicious code when called for. Well, so next is the penetration test requirement multiple layer of analyze. So taking aboard multi-layered approach to penetration testing is often overlooked. So there's some key elements and action to consider. And like first is the network layer. A network layer penetration test should be performed so that it covers all of these items below from both an internal and external perspective, using multiple tools plus manual process to test and verify network systems. And the second is a dynamic application layer. So this security testing can be sort of as testing the application from the outside in by examining and manipulating the application in its surrounding state in order to discover security vulnerabilities. And next is the static application layer. So the SAST can be sort of as a testing the application from the inside out by examining its source code, bad codes, and so on for error prediction, detective of security vulnerability. Well, so from the pen testing process, every IT environment is different and each has its own set of complex when pen testing. This is fundamental disclaimer of the pen testing process ensures that a complete and comprehensive job is performed by all parties involved. Some elements like no steps are overlooked and no unneeded risks are taken while testing and attacking. And proper cleanup is done upon the completion. And next is the work performance generate high quality, high value results. And there is a successful knowledge transfer from the tester to the organization. So for most IT performance, the human components of the penetration testing is not well understood, and the value is not given the right credit. It is true. It is true, but the people are really the most powerful elements within properly managed the pen testing programs. So having the right people on staff for pen testing or contrasting with the right true partner for the work is the most critical components of any pen testing program. And the employee should have some skills like basically work through the entire penetration testing process and effectively use the necessary tool and do the necessary research that may be required during the testing, and properly interpret, analyze, and communicate the results. So as we all know, the penetration testing tool, like the automate testing and the reporting technique, is necessary and highly beneficial to pen testing process. So use of automate tool when engaging the penetration testing projects to deliver like consistency, traceability, scalability, and efficiency improvement, and cost saving and more. So it is important to keep in mind, however, that most basically level 2 are often incapable of computing the target scan, and some tools can't dig deep enough into the network. So the system are code, so they leave many components untouched. So this is where manual testing is required, but all too often not invoked. So for some best practice recommendation, first is the focus on attack. So when performing penetration testing, the main objective is to identify explorable entry points that someone or something could use to inject malicious executable code into or use more expectedly in a target attack. And primary step in any individual target attack is to gain privileged access stage on the network device, or see where that entry point may take you next, so as to gain the alternate access to system applications and the sensitive data. And second is to be careful. So it's very important that penetration testing activity do not break the environment. So your penetration testing program need to help you identify like if particular attack are not relevant, or if running certain attack are just a way too risky from your organization to engaging. And next is some attacks should only be executed if it is first determined to be absolutely necessary, or the potential outcome are fully understood by the tester. And the per engagement decision in this regard have been discussed and agreed to with all project stakeholders before the tester goes to work. Also, the organizations should also never turn on the automate tool and just let it to lose against a set of sensitive systems. And unless a team of the penetration tester to conduct multi-vector attack using a multiple tool if their penetration testing process isn't mature enough, or their team is not experienced enough, and to properly manage two of the two and associate the manual technique required. And also fail to clean up any change forced on systems during testing, such as change configuration, add users, and so on. So here are some common challenges and pitfall with penetration testing. For example, using a penetration test result to create a false sense that the organization has implemented successful, or stop testing too soon, or assume attack don't understand security systems, and so on. So next, I will tell more something about the FAB metric to showcase the ROI of the pen testing. So as we all know, the metric driver insert into the success and the progress of your InfoSec programs, which can help you set a relevant performance indicator and make business case for funding your penetration testing program, and provide the direction for field pen testing. And some 5 metrics to demonstrate the progress toward the InfoSec maturity. For example, like the availability density. A trend in availability density is instrumental for business and risk insight. And second is penetration testing coverage. So high availability are not the only one to be concerned about. The attacker look to exploit the most valuable at any safety level. And next is the radio of the open. So these measures show how fast and effective your organization is at regulating security issues. So the next is the personnel cost related to the reglementation. So qualify the cost of reglementation once availability is identified. The availability found in production will cost much more to remediate than availability found in development. So lastly is the cost of building a secure application. So that is mean insist on security throughout the SDLC process, identify security requirements before coding, spot code reviewing the software development life cycle, and provide availability management tracking system in target with your continuous integration and delivery pipeline as software is promoted from one environment to another. Yes, thank you. So that is my presentation.